Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The apartment was empty except for a few boxes and a black cocktail dress in the closet. She left the dress when she moved out 3 weeks ago. She also left some makeup and a pair of heels that were too small for her. Joseph looked at the dress while he sat on the floor, surrounded by pizza boxes and beer bottles. "Get it together, man," he said to himself. His voice echoed in the empty room. He stood up slowly. His joints hurt after sitting for so long. The dress caught the sunlight from the window. The fabric looked shiny and stretchy. His ex wore it to his company Christmas party last year. She looked amazing in it. Joseph walked to the closet. The fabric felt smooth when he touched it. He took the dress off the hanger without thinking. This is stupid. But he found himself stripping down anyway. The dress slipped over his head easily. Too easily. He expected it to hang loose on his frame, but the material clung in unexpected ways. In the bathroom mirror, he froze. The dress transformed him. His shoulders appeared narrower, his waist more defined. The hemline hit mid-thigh, showing legs that suddenly seemed longer. He turned sideways, studying the silhouette. What the hell? His phone buzzed. Work email. He ignored it, transfixed by his reflection. The person in the mirror looked nothing like Joseph, the software developer. This person looked elegant. He spent the next hour experimenting, found her forgotten makeup bag under the sink, YouTube tutorials on his phone. First attempts were disasters, lipstick outside the lines, mascara smudged everywhere. But something drove him to keep trying. By evening, he'd achieved a passable look. Not perfect, but the face staring back definitely read as feminine. His brown hair, usually messy and unkempt, he'd managed to style into something softer using her abandoned curling iron. I should take this off. Instead, he ordered Chinese food. When the delivery arrived, he threw on a hoodie over the dress and kept his face hidden. The teenager at the door didn't give him a second glance. He ate lo mein in the dress, careful not to spill. The fabric hugged his body with each movement. He found himself sitting differently, legs together, back straighter. That night, he slept in it. Morning brought panic. What was he doing? He had work, meetings, a presentation for the Davidson account, but removing the dress felt wrong, like peeling off his own skin. He stood in his bedroom, staring at his work clothes. Gray slacks, white button-down, boring tie. I'm calling in sick. His boss barely listened to the excuse. Summer flu, he mumbled. Be back tomorrow. Instead of changing, Joseph went shopping. The mall terrified him at first. He wore jeans and a baggy sweatshirt over the dress, baseball cap pulled low. In the department store, he circled the women's section 3 times before approaching a rack. Can I help you? The saleswoman's voice made him jump. Shopping for my girlfriend. The lie came easily. What's her size? He guessed based on the dress he wore. The woman showed him options. Skirts, blouses, more dresses. He picked items in deep purples and rich blues, drawn to jewel tones that seemed to glow. Your girlfriend has excellent taste. The saleswoman smiled while ringing him up. At home, he tried everything on. The clothes fit perfectly. Each outfit made him feel more right than anything in his male wardrobe ever had. He stuffed his boy clothes into garbage bags, hauled them to the dumpster without looking back. Online research consumed his nights. Forums, videos, guides on feminization. He discovered corsets and ordered 3. The first time he laced one tight, ribs compressing, he nearly passed out. But the shape it created, that coveted hourglass, made the discomfort worthwhile. Weeks passed in isolation. He perfected his makeup routine, experimented with hairstyles, practiced walking in heels. His job called repeatedly. He sent one final email, family emergency, need extended leave. They fired him. He didn't care. The mirror became his constant companion. Hours spent analyzing every angle, noting what worked and what didn't. His waist, trained by daily corseting, gradually reduced. 2 inches, then 3. His body adapted, learned to function with constant compression. I need a name. Joseph felt foreign now. Wrong. He tried different options aloud, Elizabeth, Victoria, Sophia. Nothing fit until Abigail. Yes, Abigail. It settled into place like a missing puzzle piece. Her savings account dwindled. Laser hair removal sessions every few weeks. Legs, arms, chest, face. The technician never questioned why a man needed such extensive treatment. Money talked louder than curiosity. "How many more sessions?" Abigail asked during her 5th appointment. "Your hair's pretty stubborn. Maybe 6 more for complete removal." 6 more months of payments. She calculated what remained in her account. Enough if she was careful. The corset became her constant companion. She wore it 18 hours a day, only removing it to shower and sleep. Her body molded to its shape. Even uncorseted, her waist retained that feminine curve. Shopping turned into an addiction. Not frivolous purchases, each item carefully selected to build her wardrobe. An amethyst silk blouse that caught light like stained glass. A sapphire pencil skirt that hugged her hips perfectly. Dresses in every shade of purple and blue filled her closet. She ventured out more. Coffee shops first, quick transactions where she could practice her voice. The barista called her Miss without hesitation. Small victories. Your usual? The regular morning barista knew her order now. Oat milk latte, extra shot. Please. Their brief exchange felt monumental. Being recognized, acknowledged, seen as Abigail rather than hidden away. Grocery stores came next. Longer interactions, more opportunities for scrutiny. But no one looked twice. Why would they? She presented as any other woman shopping for produce. Her phone rang constantly. Old friends, former coworkers, family. She let it go to voicemail. Those connections belonged to someone who no longer existed. "Joseph, it's Mom. Please call me back. We're worried." Delete. The apartment transformed too. Masculine furniture sold online, replaced with pieces that reflected her aesthetic. Soft textures, curved lines, colors that complemented her wardrobe. One morning she woke with stabbing pain in her ribs. The corset had shifted during sleep, digging into tender skin. In the bathroom mirror, angry red marks lined her torso. Maybe I should take a break. But the thought of losing even a fraction of an inch terrified her. She adjusted the corset, laced it properly, and continued her day. Hair became an obsession. Her natural brown grew past her shoulders now, but years of neglect left it damaged. She spent hours researching treatments, deep conditioning masks, proper care routines. Slowly it improved. Shinier, healthier, more feminine in its movement. "You have beautiful hair," the stylist commented during a trim. "Still growing it out. Keep doing what you're doing. It's working." Validation from strangers meant everything. Each miss or ma'am reinforced her choices. She existed now, visible in ways Joseph never was. But visibility brought challenges. The man at the gas station who stared too long. The group of teenagers who whispered and pointed. The woman who did a double take in the restaurant bathroom. "Excuse me." The woman blocked her path. "This is the ladies' room." "I know." Something in Abigail's tone, calm, confident, made the woman step aside. But the encounter left her shaken. How many others noticed details she couldn't hide? Her height, her shoulders, her hands? Research led to new discoveries. Feminization procedures beyond hormones. Facial surgeries to soften masculine features. Body contouring. Each came with a price tag that made her stomach turn. She found a part-time job, data entry, work from home. Not much money, but enough to slow the hemorrhaging of her savings. Between tasks, she browsed surgical before and after photos. I could do it in stages. Talking aloud helped her think. The apartment answered with silence. Consultations came next. Doctors who specialized in facial feminization. They pointed out things she hadn't noticed. Brow ridge, jaw angle, chin projection. Each flaw magnified under their clinical assessment. "We could achieve very natural results." The surgeon pulled up computer simulations. "See how these subtle changes feminize your face?" The total quote made her gasp. More than she'd ever saved, more than she could earn in years of data entry. There are financing options. Debt terrified her more than dysphoria. She left without scheduling anything. The corset provided immediate gratification. Now down 4 inches from her original waist, she ordered smaller sizes. The new ones compressed further, forced her body into increasingly feminine proportions. Breathing became an art, shallow, measured inhales that worked within the corset's constraints. She adapted, moved differently, existed differently. Stunning figure. The woman at the boutique measured her for alterations. Natural hourglass. If only she knew the hours of training, the constant discomfort, the dedication required to maintain this natural shape. Laser appointments showed progress. Smooth legs that stayed that way for weeks. No more shadow on her upper lip. Each session brought her closer to the hairless ideal she craved. "Last one for your legs," the technician announced. "Just maintenance after this." One milestone reached. Dozens more ahead. She discovered makeup techniques that altered perception. Contouring that narrowed her nose, softened her jawline. Highlighting that created feminine dimensions. Her skills improved with obsessive practice. "You should do tutorials," a woman commented at Sephora. "Your makeup is flawless." The compliment sustained her for days. Wardrobe expansion continued. She couldn't resist the perfect piece. An amethyst wrap dress that moved like water, sapphire pumps that added 3 inches to her height. Male clothing became a foreign concept. Even pajamas were feminine. Silk nightgowns, matching sets, and soft pastels. Why would I ever wear anything else? The question hung in empty air. No one around to answer or judge. Isolation became comfortable. No explanations needed, no justifications required. Just her in the mirror and the endless pursuit of perfection. But perfection shifted constantly. Each improvement revealed new flaws. Fix one thing, notice another. The cycle fed itself. "My hands are too large." She researched hand feminization exercises, bought creams that promised to soften skin. Manicures became weekly appointments, long nails in burgundy or plum, colors that complemented her wardrobe. Voice training consumed hours. Apps that analyzed pitch, YouTube coaches who demonstrated techniques. She practiced until her throat ached, recorded herself endlessly. "Hi, I'm Abigail." Better, but not perfect. Never perfect. The job helped structure her days. Wake up, corset, makeup, breakfast. 4 hours of data entry in a purple blouse and pencil skirt, even though no one would see. Lunch break for more voice practice. Afternoon work, then evening routines. Skincare, hair treatments, outfit planning. Weekends meant longer outings. Museums, bookstores, anywhere she could exist as herself among strangers. She developed preferences. The coffee shop on 3rd Street where the baristas remembered her name. The vintage boutique that carried her sizes. "Abigail, love that dress." The boutique owner greeted her like an old friend. "The amethyst one you recommended last month. I knew it would be perfect on you." These interactions, however brief, provided human connection without the complications of deeper relationships. Her family stopped calling. The silence should have hurt, but it brought relief. No more lies, no more avoiding questions. They'd given up on Joseph. Good. She marked time by changes in her body. Waist now 5 inches smaller than when she started. Hair reaching mid-back, healthy and glossy from careful tending. Skin soft and hairless everywhere that mattered. I should get a real job. But the thought of interviews, of presenting credentials tied to her dead name, of navigating workplace dynamics, it paralyzed her. The work-from-home arrangement sufficed for now. Shopping became strategic. Sales only. Quality pieces that would last. Her aesthetic solidified. Jewel tones exclusively. Classic feminine cuts. Nothing trendy or disposable. "You always look so put together." The woman at the dry cleaner handed back her pressed blouses. "Presentation matters." It did. Every detail mattered. The way she crossed her legs, how she held her purse, the particular arch of a perfectly plucked eyebrow. Constant vigilance against any slip that might betray her history. She found a therapist who specialized in gender issues. The sessions happened over video, easier to maintain her presentation without traveling. "How are you feeling about your progress?" Dr. Martinez asked during their 3rd session. "It's never enough." "Tell me more about that." Where to begin? The endless list of imperfections, the goals that multiplied faster than she could achieve them, the fear that someone would see through her carefully constructed facade. I spend every waking moment thinking about my appearance. Is that sustainable? The question lingered long after the session ended. Sustainable implied a future, implied this was temporary. But what else was there? Who was she without this constant effort? Her credit card statements showed the truth. Thousands spent on clothes, treatments, products. The savings account that once held promise now barely covered next month's rent. I need more income. She applied for additional work-from-home positions, customer service, transcription, anything that didn't require video calls or in-person meetings. The hours accumulated, 60, 70 per week, hunched over her laptop in various jewel-toned outfits. "Ma'am, I can help you with that account issue." Her customer service voice perfected through repetition. "Ma'am," they all called her ma'am now. Between calls, she browsed surgical websites. Financing options available, they all promised. Payment plans to make dreams affordable. The temptation grew stronger. "Just the brow bone. That's all I need." Lies, she told herself. One procedure would lead to another, she knew. But that one change might make the difference between passing and being clocked. She scheduled a consultation, canceled it, scheduled another. The surgeon was kind, professional. He showed her simulations again, explained recovery time, discussed realistic expectations. Many of my patients find this life-changing, as if her life hadn't already changed beyond recognition. She signed the paperwork, surgery scheduled for next month. The payment plan stretched her budget to breaking, but she'd manage. She always managed. Pre-operative appointments filled her calendar. Blood work, medical clearance, detailed instructions for preparation and recovery. The reality of voluntarily altering her face set in. "No corset for at least 6 weeks post-surgery," the nurse explained. Panic rose in her throat. 6 weeks without her daily training? Her waist would expand, lose its carefully cultivated shape. Is that absolutely necessary? Your body needs to heal properly. No exceptions. She spent the weeks before surgery corseting longer hours, hoping muscle memory would maintain some shape during recovery. The night before surgery, she stood before her mirror in a sapphire nightgown. Tomorrow, this face would change forever. Did she want to remember how she looked before? "This is who I'm supposed to be." Morning came too quickly. The surgical center smelled like disinfectant and anxiety. Other patients waited, some obviously there for similar procedures, others impossible to read. "Abigail?" A nurse called her chosen name without hesitation. Pre-op blurred together. IVs, consent forms, marking her face with purple ink to guide the surgeon's hands. The anesthesiologist counted backward from 10. 9, 8, 7. Darkness. Waking brought confusion and pain. Bandages wrapped her head, eyes swollen shut. Nurses spoke softly, administered medication, assured her everything went well. "You did great." Doctors very pleased with the results. Results she couldn't see, wouldn't see for days. Faith that beneath the swelling and bruises lay the face she'd imagined. Recovery passed in a haze of pills and protein shakes. Unable to wear her corset, she felt her body betraying her, expanding back toward its natural state. But the face, even swollen, she could see the changes. Softer brow, refined angles. Beautiful work. The doctor examined his results at her follow-up. Very natural feminine appearance. Natural. That word again. Nothing about this felt natural, but perhaps that was the point. Creating a new nature, one stitch at a time. She returned to corseting gradually. The 6-week break had cost her 2 inches, but muscle memory kicked in quickly. Within a month, she'd reclaimed her tiny waist. The healing face in the mirror looked like a stranger. A beautiful stranger, but still unfamiliar. She relearned her angles, adjusted her makeup techniques for new contours. "You look radiant," the barista commented one morning. Radiant, not clocked, not questioned, just radiant. Work accumulated while she recovered. She threw herself back into customer service calls, transcription projects, data entry. The surgical payment loomed large each month, but she managed. Barely. Her wardrobe suffered from the tight budget. No new purchases, just careful maintenance of existing pieces. She hand-washed delicates, learned basic alterations, made each item last. Classic style never goes out of fashion, she told herself while pressing the same amethyst blouse she'd worn dozens of times. The therapist challenged her during sessions, asked about relationships, about isolation, about plans beyond appearance. I don't need anyone else. Everyone needs connection, Abigail. I have connection. The barista knows my name. The boutique owner compliments my dresses. Surface-level interactions. What about deeper relationships? The question felt like an attack. Deeper meant revelation, meant trusting someone with her history, meant risking rejection. I'm fine alone. Dr. Martinez didn't push, but the topic surfaced repeatedly. Human connection, emotional intimacy, life beyond the mirror. Her hair reached her waist now. The weight of it pulled at her scalp, required constant care to prevent tangling. But cutting it felt like betrayal. Femininity measured in inches. You could donate some length, the stylist suggested. Still keep it very long but more manageable. No. Non-negotiable. Every inch had been earned through patience and care. She discovered new ways to redistribute her limited income. Cheaper protein for meal replacement, generic beauty products when name brands ran out. The surgical payment never missed. Everything else became flexible. Is financial stress affecting your mental health? Dr. Martinez asked during a session. I'm managing. Always surviving, always one careful decision away from collapse. Her body continued its transformation. The corset carved permanent changes, compressed ribs, redistributed flesh. Even uncorseted, her torso retained an hourglass silhouette. Victory through suffering. Your dedication is admirable, the therapist observed. But at what cost? Costs were mathematical, clear. Dollar amounts for procedures, time invested in routines, social connections sacrificed. The gains felt less quantifiable, but more real. The woman in the mirror, the life she'd built, the authenticity of existing as herself. She scheduled another surgery consultation. Chin refinement this time, subtle changes to create a more delicate profile. The surgeon showed simulations, quoted prices, offered payment plans. I need to think about it. But thinking meant wanting, and wanting meant finding a way. She picked up additional transcription work, customer service overtime, anything to inch closer to affording the next procedure. Her world shrank to work and appearance. Wake, corset, makeup, work. 10 hours in jewel-toned clothing no one saw, remove makeup, skincare routine, sleep. Weekends meant errands, groceries, laser maintenance appointments, necessary shopping. Haven't seen you at the coffee shop lately, the barista mentioned when she finally returned. Working more. Don't burn yourself out. Too late for such warnings. Burnout implied she could stop, implied this was temporary effort rather than permanent lifestyle. She researched body procedures next. Hip enhancement, fat redistribution, countless options to feminize her silhouette beyond corseting. Each website promised transformation. Each transformation came with 5-figure estimates. Maybe I should consider hormones? The thought had circled for months. Medical transition versus purely aesthetic changes. But hormones meant doctors, meant official paperwork, meant confronting systems that still knew her dead name. She made an appointment with an endocrinologist, canceled it, made another. The waiting room was full of people like her, some further along their journeys, some just beginning. She recognized the hunger in their eyes, the same need for change that drove her daily routines. First visit? Another patient smiled kindly. Yes, it gets easier. The first step is hardest. But Abigail had taken so many first steps already. This felt like number 1,000. The doctor was thorough, explaining options and effects and timelines. Blood work ordered, consent forms provided, follow-up scheduled. Any questions? Hundreds. But they all boiled down to one. Would this finally be enough? She left with prescriptions and uncertainty. Hormones would change everything, permanently alter her body in ways corseting and surgery couldn't. Another line crossed, another former self abandoned. "It's just medication," she told her reflection that night. The woman staring back wore an amethyst wrap dress and perfect makeup. Would hormones improve her or destroy what she'd carefully built? She filled the prescriptions but didn't start them. The bottles sat on her dresser between perfume and jewelry, possibility in pill form. Work consumed more hours. Savings slowly recovered from surgery, each dollar allocated before earning. Rent, surgical payment, laser maintenance, basic needs. Nothing left for the wardrobe additions she craved. "Vintage shopping," the boutique owner suggested. "Your style would translate beautifully to classic pieces." Vintage meant affordable, meant unique finds in her signature jewel tones. She discovered consignment shops, estate sales, online auctions, a 1960s sapphire cocktail dress for $30, an amethyst silk scarf that transformed basic outfits. Her aesthetic evolved, classic femininity with vintage touches, nothing trendy or disposable, everything chosen to last decades. The hormone bottles remained untouched. Each morning she considered starting, each evening she postponed. The changes they promised felt too vast, too permanent, too much like admitting her current efforts weren't enough. "What's holding you back?" Dr. Martinez asked during their session. "I've worked so hard to look like this. What if hormones ruin it?" Change can be scary, even positive change. But she'd embraced change, lived it daily. This felt different. Medical, official, irreversible in ways surgery wasn't. She researched exhaustively. Timeline photos from other women, detailed transition journals, scientific papers on feminizing effects. Knowledge didn't ease fear, only clarified the magnitude of the decision. Her chin surgery consultation arrived. Same surgeon, same kind demeanor, same payment plan options. The simulation showed subtle changes, slightly more pointed, decidedly more feminine. We could also address the jaw angle while we're there. Always another improvement available, another flaw to fix. She scheduled the surgery, signed another payment plan, added another monthly obligation to her stretched budget. 2 procedures might be my limit, she told the receptionist. They both knew she was lying. Preoperative routine felt familiar now. Blood work, clearances, preparation instructions. The corset situation worried her less. She'd maintained her shape through the previous recovery. "Any medications?" The nurse reviewed her chart. The hormone prescriptions waited at home, still untouched. Not medications if she wasn't taking them. No. Surgery day arrived with less anxiety. She knew the process, trusted the results, accepted the temporary discomfort for permanent improvement. "Same anesthesiologist as last time," the nurse smiled. "She remembered you." Being remembered felt validating. Even here, presenting as herself consistently enough to stick in memory. Recovery blurred again. Pain, swelling, careful nutrition. Unable to wear her corset initially, she focused on other aspects. Perfect manicures, flawless skincare, maintaining her hair's health through careful braiding. "Healing beautifully," the surgeon announced at her reveal appointment. The mirror showed truth. Refined chin, softened jaw, increasingly feminine proportions, worth every dollar of debt, every hour of overtime worked. She returned to full routines gradually. Corset reclaimed its daily position. Work hours extended to cover new payments. The hormone bottles moved from dresser to medicine cabinet, still sealed but closer to use. "I don't want to be a medical statistic." The empty apartment absorbed her justifications. Hormones meant joining a system, being counted and categorized. Her journey had been individual, private, self-directed. Medical transition felt like surrendering control, but her research showed possibilities. Skin changes, fat redistribution, emotional shifts, things no amount of corseting or surgery could achieve. The final pieces of a puzzle she'd been assembling for years. She opened the bottles. Tiny pills, enormous implications. The information sheets warned of timelines, changes beginning within weeks, irreversible effects within months. Now or never. The first pill tasted like nothing. Anticlimax after months of deliberation. She waited for immediate changes, for her body to rebel or transform. Nothing happened. Days passed before subtle shifts. Emotions felt closer to the surface. Her skin seemed softer, though that might be imagination. The corseted waist maintained its shape while other areas began slow redistribution. "You look different," the barista commented. "Good different. Glowing. Glowing. Maybe hormones, maybe just happiness at finally taking the step." Work continued its relentless pace. Customer service calls where she got misgendered less frequently, transcription projects that paid for groceries, data entry that covered partial rent, the juggling act of survival. Her wardrobe remained static, same jewel-toned pieces worn in careful rotation. She learned new styling tricks, ways to make limited options feel fresh. The amethyst blouse paired with different scarves, the sapphire skirt worn with vintage accessories. "Fashion is about creativity, not consumption," she told herself while pressing the same dress for the dozenth time. Hormones worked slowly but steadily. Her face softened beyond what surgery achieved. Fat shifted from waist to hips despite the corset's constraints. Emotions became more accessible. Tears during movies, deeper joy at small victories. "How are the medications treating you?" Dr. Martinez asked. "Like I'm finally becoming myself." "You've been becoming yourself all along." True, but incomplete. Each change, corseting, surgery, hormones, added layers to her authentic self. Not replacing who she was, but revealing who she'd always been. Her hair reached past her waist now, impractical, but cherished. She spent hours maintaining it. Deep conditioning, careful brushing, protective styles for sleep. The weight of it reminded her how far she'd come. "You could model," a woman at the salon suggested. "That hair, that figure." Modeling required exposure, documentation, existing in public beyond her careful coffee shop interactions. The compliment flattered, but the possibility terrified. She discovered hormone effects no research had prepared her for. Scent changed, taste shifted, physical sensations felt different. Her body became foreign and familiar simultaneously. It's like learning to exist all over again. The apartment offered no response, but she'd grown comfortable with monologues, processing aloud, working through changes without external input. Financial pressure mounted. 2 surgical payments, rent, hormones, basic needs. She added overnight transcription shifts, answered customer service calls during breakfast. Sleep became luxury she couldn't afford. "You look tired," the boutique owner mentioned. "Working a lot." "Don't sacrifice your health for money." Easy advice from someone not drowning in medical debt. But her health, mental, physical, emotional, was precisely what she was purchasing one payment at a time. The mirror showed truth. Feminine face refined by surgery and softened by hormones. Corseted waist maintaining its impossible dimensions. Long brown hair framing delicate features. She looked like the woman she'd imagined years ago finding that first black dress. Is it enough? The question haunted quiet moments. Would anything ever be enough? Each achievement revealed new goals. Each transformation highlighted remaining flaws. She scheduled consultations for body procedures, hips, breast augmentation, countless options to complete her silhouette. The quotes made her stomach turn, more than she'd make in years at current pace. Payment plans available, every receptionist assured. Payment plans that would bury her completely, turn her entire existence into working to afford existing as herself. Her therapist pushed gently toward social connection. Support groups, social events, ways to engage beyond transaction-based interactions. "I don't need a support group." Community isn't about need, it's about shared experience. But her experience felt too individual, too specific. Years of isolation had created comfort in solitude. Other people meant judgment, questions, potential rejection. She ventured to a coffee shop social hour, low stakes, public setting, easy escape. Other trans women gathered around pushed-together tables, sharing stories and laughs. First time? A woman in an emerald dress smiled warmly. "Yes. Welcome, I'm Diana." Names exchanged, brief histories shared. Abigail kept her story vague. transitioning for a few years, working from home, living quietly. The others accepted without probing. "Love your style," Diana complimented. "Very classic." They discussed fashion, hormones, surgeries with casual openness. Things Abigail had researched in isolation became communal knowledge. She found herself relaxing marginally. "Same time next week?" She nodded before overthinking. Human connection in small doses, carefully controlled exposure. The week between meetups dragged. Work, corset, hormones, routine. But now with anticipation for Wednesday evening, for conversations beyond customer service scripts. "You came back!" Diana seemed genuinely pleased. The group had shifted. Some new faces, some missing from before. Fluid community, people dropping in as needed. Abigail settled into a chair, ordered her usual latte, listened more than spoke. "Surgery consult next month," one woman shared. Terrified but excited. Others offered advice, surgeon recommendations, recovery tips. Abigail found herself contributing, mentioning her positive experiences, realistic timeline expectations. "You've had facial work?" someone asked. 2 procedures, worth every penny. They believed her, integrated her expertise without questioning her history. Small victory in casual acceptance. Weeks developed rhythm. Work marathon, Monday through Wednesday. Coffee shop social Wednesday evening. Work continuing through weekend. The gatherings became anticipated break from isolation. "You're opening up," Dr. Martinez observed, "in small ways." Progress is progress. But progress toward what? She'd achieved her physical goals through corseting and surgery, hormones continuing their slow work. Social connection felt like deviation from her focused path. Diana became something like a friend. They texted between meetups, outfit photos, hormone milestone celebrations, commiseration over medical bills. "Shopping this weekend?" Diana suggested. "I know great vintage spots." Abigail hesitated. Shopping had been solitary ritual, careful curation of her specific aesthetic. Sharing that felt vulnerable. Maybe. Saturday arrived with anxiety. She dressed carefully. Amethyst wrap dress, vintage accessories, perfect makeup, armor against potential judgment. Diana met her at a consignment shop, wearing the same emerald dress from their first meeting. "I have 6 of these," she laughed. "When you find what works?" Understanding passed between them. The careful construction of feminine presentation, favorite pieces worn repeatedly, style as survival rather than fashion. They browsed together, pointing out possibilities. Diana gravitated toward bold patterns, while Abigail maintained her jewel-tone focus. "This would be stunning on you." Diana held up a sapphire velvet blazer. It was. Perfectly fitted, rich color, reasonable price. Abigail tried it on, seeing her reflection transformed by the structured shoulders and nipped waist. "You have to get it." She calculated bills, surgical payments, hormone costs. The blazer wasn't necessary, wouldn't change her fundamental appearance. Maybe next time. Diana didn't push, understanding financial reality without explanation. They continued browsing, trying things on for fun rather than purchase. "Coffee?" Diana suggested after. They found a quiet cafe, settling into corner seats. Conversation flowed easier than at group meetings. Personal histories, transition details, dreams and fears. "I sometimes wonder if I'll ever feel finished," Diana admitted. "Finished? Like this is it, I'm complete. No more procedures to save for, no more changes needed." Abigail stirred her latte, considering. The concept of completion felt foreign. There was always another improvement possible, another flaw to address. Maybe that's not the point. "What do you mean?" "Maybe we're always becoming, never become." Diana smiled. "That's either deeply philosophical or deeply depressing." "Both?" They laughed, finding humor in existential uncertainty. The afternoon stretched comfortably, 2 women sharing space without pretense. "Same time next week?" Diana asked when they parted. "Yes." Friendship. The word felt strange applied to her isolated life, but Diana expected nothing beyond shared experience, made no demands for deeper revelation. Work resumed its punishing pace. She picked up additional holiday customer service shifts, angry callers demanding refunds, stressed voices seeking help. Her feminine voice soothed, de-escalated, earned compliments from supervisors. "You're our best representative," her manager messaged. "Any interest in team lead position?" Team lead meant video calls, meant being visible beyond voice. The raise would help, but exposure terrified. "I'll consider it." She spent evening researching makeup techniques for video calls, lighting that flattered, angles that feminized. If she could control the environment completely... "Take the promotion," Diana encouraged during their shopping trip. "It's complicated." "Everything's complicated. Doesn't mean we don't try." Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.